Hey everybody, so I have been constantly asked about my Dark Dimension take on the characters I brought in, who I wish I brought in, who I suggest people bring in. So I wanted to make this video. I changed up the format a little bit than what I normally do because I was live with a bunch of people on Twitch having such a great time, and I wanted to do it live with them and let them have some input, ask some questions, and I tried to respond to them. It sometimes doesn't come out as coherently as I wish it would have. It would have helped if I had the chat pulled up. I'm going to work on having to figure that out for future videos if I follow this format. So let me know how you feel about that. If you like the instant feedback I'm able to give to Twitch chat, and what you think about my recommendations. And it is going to be like a 25-minute video, so make sure you use the timestamps down below if you only want to see certain sections. But without further ado, let's get into it. Alright, so here we are with my Dark Dimension regrets. I'm in here with Twitch chat right now. I'm going to let them ask me questions on why I feel certain ways about these champions that I'm about to talk about, both regrets and who I wish I took, and who I did end up taking on my second run. And we're going to go from there. So, starting off, we got to start off with the unrestricted section. So this is the unrestricted section, right? We have Shang-Chi, Lady Deathstrike, Cloak, Omega Red, and Symbiote Spider-Man. Now, I took Symbiote Spider-Man before he got replaced by Web Warriors. So, right away, don't take Symbiote Spider-Man. And then I had Omega Red and Lady Deathstrike. You might think that's weird because, well, they're not cities, so they don't feed into the next section. So it seems like a little bit of waste, but I wasn't going to take any tech or mutant characters into the unrestricted section, so it didn't make much sense. And also, they're just badass characters that I really wanted for further sections. So who do I wish I took into the unrestricted section instead? Well, I kind of wish I didn't take Symbiote Spider-Man or Cloak. I wish I took these two Web Warriors instead. Obviously, I would get more use out of these Web Warriors, being that they're, you know, the new raid team, and they're just better characters overall in other game modes. Like, we had them in the Scourge mode, they were great. They're great in War. Cloak, a fantastic character. Makes the Dark Dimension run in both the Unrestricted and City sections easier. He's probably the better Dark Dimension 5 character, but he takes Mystic Gear. And I want Mystic Gear for all these new characters. And I wanted Mystic Gear for Doom. I didn't end up bringing Doom in my first run. We're going to get into that in a little bit. But that's why I wish I didn't take Cloak. So that'd be what I would prefer to have done. Moving on to City. This was the City team that I ended up taking. So we had Shang-Chi, Cloak, and then I did take Scarlet Spider and Ghost Spider because by the time I reached City, they were out. So I definitely just built them, and I waited on them for the bio gear because, honestly, if you take 5 bio characters into City, it's kind of whatever, because you don't need bio for any other section, in my opinion. And then we have Symbiote Spider-Man again. I guess you can take right away, like I dumped Symbiote Spider-Man for sure. And I also would have dumped Cloak for the exact same reasons we just talked about, and I would have taken more Web Warriors. I wouldn't take Punk, because he's a punk. Kind of sucks. He's great in raids, and there's going to be a new raid where Web Warriors are going to be useful, but just wasn't the case right now. I don't think it's useful. Shang-Chi, an amazing character, an amazing raid character, an amazing tower character. War defense, kind of sucks. Cosmic Crucible, great. This would be my ideal 5, and Shang-Chi is very useful in Dark Dimension 5, doing that rewind and everything else. Any questions from Twitch chat? You guys are quiet. Do you have any criticisms or questions? Just let me know as we go. I'm happy to stop. And then we move on to Global. Ooh. Red Smoke says, but my Punk is 7 red star. I did just get him. He does give Web Warriors. Let's go back a little bit. So the arguments for Punk would be Punk gives offense up when they dodge. If you have my good red stars, he's good in the raid. All that stuff is very true. Yeah, I still just disagree. I just don't think Punk, even giving that offense up, out-benefits Shang-Chi with that turn meter rewind and that cleanse. And the cleanse makes him go faster with the T4, and I really like that. Now, there's some new characters for City, actually. It was just brought up Spider-Woman. Would I bring Spider-Woman in? She's bio. I would probably bring Spider-Woman in before... Yeah, I'd bring her in before Shang-Chi. I'd save the skill gear for the global section and for Kestrel. I don't see that being a bad idea. Holy Biogear Batman, says Midnight. Yeah, it's a lot of Biogear. I didn't use a single other Bio character for the rest of Dark Dimension 5. I don't think you need to. Na asks, would I have preferred or did I bring Dagger along with Cloak at any point? No, Mystic's too tight. I didn't bring her on the initial run because I was budgeting for the Eternals, and I wouldn't have brought her on the second run because by then Darkhold was out, and Darkhold is obviously where you want to stick your Mystic gear. Elder says he took Anti-Venom and his bleeds were massive as Striker. I believe that. I just don't think Anti-Venom has any value outside of Dark Dimension 5. Squirrel Girl is an amazing character. She's great, and her team is amazing in a lot of modes. Specifically, the new Scourge mode coming out, and Cosmic Crucible, and then Tower mode. I mean, she's also War Defense, obviously. That's all great. I just think I'd prefer to have my raid team stacked than Squirrel Girl, even though she's central in all those other modes, and I prefer all those other modes. I always want my raid experience to be like Clutch. So having Gear Tier 16 on my raid character seems more valuable to me. JT Shape says, OG Spider-Man and Miles cost more bio than Punk, but they are better than Punk. I'm still debating which of the three I should choose. Yeah, Spider-Punk costs, I think, one more piece, but he's just not nearly as good. Not nearly as good. Miles seems so important. Yeah, Miles is great for 2 Scourge events, too. You know, that Pestilence event is over for the people who have 7 yellow stars, but it's not for everybody else. So having your Miles and your Web Warriors even higher is going to be helpful for the next iteration. Rox asks, what about Misty? She's fairly cheap. I would say heck no to Roxy, to Misty. Misty being tech is her only advantage outside of her team. She's not great. I agree with what Na just said. The fact that she's tech is definitely beneficial. I ended up finding use for tech in the Cosmic section and the Legendary section. And I got flooded with tech gear, but it was still perfect for me. Yeah. Prince says he would take Web Warriors as long as he's got yellow and red stars. That makes sense. OG is good. Missy's a trap. Okay, so it sounds like we're pretty good to move on from City. So let's go ahead and look at Global. And like I was saying earlier, Global was my big regret. I made a big mistake. I made some assumptions that I probably could have avoided if I looked at the nodes. Because if you look at the nodes, specifically that second node with that opening wave, it's so cancerous. With Silver Surfer, Squirrel Girl, Yo-Yo, Black Bolt, Mordo, Miss Marvel. I think that's it. Black Widow maybe as well there. This team in front of you struggled so much there. I thought for sure Maria Hill's heals, say that 3 times real fast, would carry me and heal people. And I thought the innate health regen from Wolverine, Sabretooth, and Lady Deathstrike would keep them healthy. They just got annihilated over and over and over again. I got through it, I think, in 1 attack. My second node, I believe, was like 12 attacks. It was brutal, and I reset a lot. And then the third node was actually pretty smooth up until the last wave, or the second last wave with the Captain Marvel and the Kree people. And that was very unfortunate watching a Kree noble one-shot your Captain Sam. So I definitely regretted bringing these 5. Absolutely. Who do I wish I brought? Very simply, I wish I didn't bring Maria Hill or Wolverine. I wish I brought Doom and Sharon Carter. I did bring Doom and Sharon Carter on my second run, and I trashed the global nodes. I beat it in one attack, then the second node I beat in, I think, 3 attacks, and the third node I beat in 2 attacks. Now, the reason you go for Sabretooth over Wolverine, there's a couple reasons. He's cheaper, which is great, and in the Weapon X team against the Heroes for Hire matchup, you want your Sabretooth to at least be equal to or greater than your Omega Red as far as build goes, as far as red stars go, and gear tier. And because Omega Red is super important for the Legendary section, I strongly recommend making your Sabretooth at least match him if that's a matchup you're consistently taking if you don't have your Dark Hunters built. Not to mention, Sabretooth smacks. He smacks. Boy, does he smack. And then Lady Deathstrike, obvious choice. Tech, super cheap. She's useful in the tech raid. Just a great character. Sharon with the stun, the ability to block the defense down, the slows, the offense up to Captain Sam. Just brilliant. And then Captain Sam, he speaks for himself. He's a great character. Now, there's no heals on this team, but for whatever reason, this team was more sturdy than with Maria. It just was. So this is what I wish I had taken. Now, I'm going to go ahead and try and catch up with Twitch chat. They've been going crazy, and let's answer some of these questions. Global, Sabretooth or Emma? Sabretooth. Don't take Emma. I don't suggest... Like, she's a good character. She costs more. Sabretooth is just cheaper, and for the reasons I just mentioned with the Heroes for Hire matchup. Doom, Cap Sam, LDS, and Sharon Carter's main 4. I took Emma as 5th. So you took Emma instead of Sabretooth. I mean, if you have the extra mutant gear, I see where you're coming from. And now she's on a good team. She's always going to be kind of sticking around the meta with the passive. So you can make an argument for Emma, for sure. I like my Sabretooth pick. My second run for Global was Maria, Sharon, Sam, Doom, and Lady Deathstrike, so Sabretooth, and was fairly easy. Yeah, I tried bringing Maria in with Sharon and Sam, and it didn't mesh as well as I thought it would have. I was still hopeful for the Maria Hill to do work on the second run, and because it's only like 50% chance on a block outside of raid, and it just wasn't working for me. Silver Samurai and Cap Sam carried me in Global. Silver Samurai, very interesting. I'm not familiar with his assist mechanic outside of War. If he's doing a bunch of assists with like Sabretooth, Wolverine, and Lady Deathstrike, I can see that being very strong. Wolverine is okay, but they share uniques, which is with more important tunes. Yeah, Prince brings up a good point. Wolverine with that adamantium and Maria with the shield. That's shared with... the adamantium is actually shared with Lady Deathstrike, I believe. And the shield from Maria is shared with Kestrel. So if you are having a unique shortage, you should definitely keep an eye on that. First run, did Sharon over Maria? I did this exact team. It was still easy, yeah. Wolverine is cooler, says Prince. That's very true. Shang and Sabretooth share uniques. They do. But here's the thing you got to remember. Dark Dimension 5 is not a race. They designed Teal Gear to trickle in so slowly. Now, for you guys just getting to it now, it's a little bit better because we have the Cosmic Crucible store. Congratulations. I'm happy for you. I hope everyone gets through it faster, gets that Dormammu, because Dormammu is kind of like the haves and have-nots right now, a bunch of modes. So I'm happy that's the case. But yeah, when I did it, it was not a race. It was a very, very slow marathon. And I got the finish line done in time, but I definitely didn't win the race. I wasn't trying to. Flip says he took Zemo over Sharon. The ability block and buff strips were clutch. He also claps minions. Yeah, that's a good point, Flip. Zemo I could see. I just don't think I'd want to use the skill gear on him. I think I prefer the Secret Avenger members just for raid. For the same reasons I like the Web Warriors over a character like Spider-Woman or Symbiote Spider-Man. I think the Secret Avengers are here to stay for raids, for at least one more raid iteration. Thoughts on Voodoo? Don't take Voodoo because he's Mystic. I love Voodoo. I have a 7 red star Voodoo. He's fun. But because he's Mystic gear, you just can't. Yeah, exactly what Na just said. Lots catching up to do. Sinister was Great Node 1 and then was a drag. Okay, yeah, don't bring Sinister. I wouldn't suggest that. Bringing 2 same unique characters is better than bringing 2 same origin characters. What Na just said, absolutely agree. Spider-Woman for Global. I didn't even know she was Global. I thought she was City. She might be one bio character that I would consider over Web Warriors and later on. She's very fast. She's got the ability block plus defense downs. Would she replace anybody here, though? I don't think so. Spider-Woman is City. Okay, never mind. She's City, apparently. Whatever the case may be, I think I would still pass on Spider-Woman. Either way. All right, let's move on to Cosmic. Now, Cosmic was my favorite section by far. This was the team I took. Kestrel, Eternals, T'Challa, and Stitcher. T'Challa and Stitcher, super cheap. They did absolutely bleep all on this team. They were bodies. They fed into the Kestrel defense down, and that was pretty much it. The Eternals pop off hard with their Dark Dimension tags, and Kestrel is Kestrel, which is, it's fun. But the tech, I had so much tech gear, and they're so cheap, it made sense to take those two. And so who do I regret taking? Nobody. I don't regret this team whatsoever. I would probably take this exact same team, even though Darkhold is out right now. And that might seem like a very weird suggestion. So I'm literally saying, Mystic Gear should be reserved for Darkhold. I would make an exception for these two Eternals. I think they'll be useful in any Dark Dimensions that come along. They're going to be useful in literally every single mode because the way their kits work. With the flip from Icarus, the turn meter rewind they both do, the stuns, the synergy they bring. Who knows if we're going to get another Eternals movie that kind of bombed, but if we do, then we might get more Eternals, and they might get brought back up into prominence. And they just make this section a joke. I one-shot every single node. I did reset a bunch on nodes 1 and 2, and node 3 just kind of fell over, which was very surprising. But this was my Cosmic team. I regret nothing. Kestrel being skill and tech is kind of a nice little mix. The 2 cheap tech characters, and then my my Eternals. So yeah, I don't regret this at all. Twitch chat, what do you got? What do you got, Twitch chat? Cosmic is all about Eternals plus Kestrel. Absolutely agree. I regret T'Challa and Stitcher. They did nothing for me. Build up your Ravagers, Jumpy. They're a great, great war team. Stitcher, 3-turn, 20% health steal is kind of badass. Yeah, so Stitcher's special is actually a very big heal, and it does do, I believe it's actually 40% health steal, because it does it twice, if I'm not mistaken. Am I mistaken there? Is it 10 and 10? Either way, it's a very, very strong attack and a big heal. So I'm seeing a lot of agreement that the Eternals, for the people in Twitch chat that already ran through Dark Dimension 5, was great. Prince is saying he took the same team except for Stitcher. He did Heartless. So if you do have the Mystic Gear, that's a great suggestion. To take the Eternals, but to also take Doctor Strange Heartless. I love that. Gear Tier 16 Deathpool first tune. Yeah, that's a rough break. I definitely don't suggest bringing Deathpool. All right. It looks like we're good on that. So let's go ahead and move into the last section, Legendary. Legendary, I think, has the worst tunes. This was my Legendary lineup. Omega Red, Jubilee, Phoenix, Shuri, and Doc Ock. You know what? It's been a while since I made this, so I don't even know who I took out. I definitely took out Jubilee. Jubilee was one of the first characters I brought to Gear Tier 16 once I had the mutant characters figured out in the other sections. I did her before I did Phoenix. She had a really hard time landing anything for me, even as a 5 red star, 7 yellow star, Gear Tier 16, ISO blue skirmisher. It was just a problem. It was a big problem with the Jubilee for me. Phoenix did fantastic. I love her on her team, but it's kind of a one-trick pony team. It is good in all the modes, right? It's good in Cosmic Crucible, Tower, War, not great in Raid, and she's great in Dark Dimensions, so there's that. But the real star of the show is Omega Red. There is no character to take more than Omega Red. I use him in the Unrestricted. I use him in Legendary. He carried so hard. I did my run before Morgan came to the game, right? I did my first run before that. So let's see who I took out in my thinking about a week ago when I made this. Doc Ock and Phoenix. And I actually agree with that very much. Shuri, I would keep in with the Wakanda rework. She's a great character. I also use in the tech raids. It makes more sense. I would 100,000% take Morgan Le Fay. She is such an amazing character with her turn meter rewind, the life steal 10%. It's just insane. And yes, I would take Rogue instead of Jubilee, knowing nothing about Rogue except her special. Her special, go read it. It's gonna blow. If you are a theory crafter in this game and you read that special, it is gonna blow your mind. Absolutely insane. So what does this change? Well, I lost a tech character and I gained another mystic. That might increase the time a little bit, but I think that time is well worth it. Doc Ock, where are you using your Doc Ock right now? You might use him as a plug and play to like beat Black Order teams, to beat Yo-Yo teams. Does he need to be Gear Tier 16 to do that? No, he doesn't, right? I think Doc Ock, sadly, has seen the end of his days as far as an elite character goes. He now moves into the niche phase like Yo-Yo did. like Falcon did, like Namor did. He's still going to have his use. He's still a great character. He's not like the first that comes to mind to Max anymore. And then Jubilee, I already told you why I don't suggest doing Jubilee. I just don't. Didn't like her. And yeah, guys, that's my Dark Dimension 5 regrets. Let's look at Twitch chat. So, Shuri got 1,000% better. That's absolutely true. Omega Red and Morgan Le Fay are the only two characters that matter in Legendary. That's it, those two. I agree with Na, who said that. What I would say is you just want to make sure you have Skirmishers or Raiders go along with her. I switched my Shuri to be a Raider because her basic was getting a bunch of vulnerables out there for me, which was super useful. Out of these 5... the prop, yeah, you know what? If you had your Morgan Le Fay as a skirmisher, because you use that in arena, you can just leave it and let Omega Red do his thing. But the more vulnerables they can use with their ISO attacks, the better. Bryn says he took Black Bolt. I don't dislike the Black Bolt pick. He's bio. I didn't feel the need to bring him, but I like him in all other modes, so I don't hate that pick at all. Yeah, Morgan wasn't out when I first did it. Phoenix super cheap from what she gives you. Yeah, I like Phoenix. As a character, I just like her. This is where most of your tech and mutants going to end up. Yeah, I agree, Jumpy. Somebody said Adam Warlock is good too. Yes, he's good, but he's Mystic. And he's on a team that's starting to fall off. Now, Infinity Watch is far from falling off, but they are falling off. I took Black Bolt because Biogear. That's fine. I brought Doc Ock. I also brought Doc Ock. Look, I don't regret it because I got through it, but I wouldn't suggest somebody who doesn't have him gear tier 16 now to do it. Strongly wouldn't suggest that. Doc, that much worse than Phoenix? Yes, Doc Ock is that much worse than Phoenix because his use in other game modes is 0, pretty much. Well, not 0. His use as a gear tier 16 in other game modes is 0. As long as there are strikers and you have skirmishers, doesn't matter. Yeah, exactly what Na just said. We want to make sure your Omega Red and your Morgan Le Fay are feeding off those vulnerables. And yeah, that's it, guys. Looks like we're at the end of the Twitch questions as far as Legendary goes. So I'm going to leave the video here. I'll check you guys later. Hey guys, I hope you enjoyed that video. I hope you found it informative and helpful. I know it was a little different reacting to Twitch chat. And I didn't actually have Twitch chat pulled up. I got to figure out how to do that. I'm still kind of newbie at these kind of things, but for your entertainment and just to be more professional, I should definitely figure that out, and that's what I'm going to go do right now. So I hope you enjoyed the video despite the lack of structure. If you did, like, share, and subscribe, and I'll check you guys next time. Peace.